What's up? Welcome to Trackletics Live, the ultimate show for all things track and field. Join us as we dive deep into the sport, interviewing track and field athletes, coaches, nutrition specialists, and more. Get ready to hear some dope conversations and gain exclusive insight into what it takes to become a top performer in the sport. Whether you're a seasoned track and field athlete or just starting off, this is the show for you. So make sure you smash that like button, hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Let's get into the show. Everyone, let's welcome Dontavious.
What's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm good, man. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. I'm having a good day. Doing good.
Glad to hear that. Thank you for sitting down, having this conversation with me. Been looking forward to it for a while, man, and supporting your journey. You've been making some waves in the sport, really accomplishing some big things.
Yes, sir. I appreciate the support from the start to the finish. I appreciate it.
Always. Let's go ahead and kick this thing off, man. My first question I love to ask everybody is, what is your track and field story? We see everything that you're doing, everything you're getting into, but I want to take it all the way back. How did you get started?
So all the way back.
One hard lesson I've learned being an athlete is that hydration is a major key to performance. You will not perform your best dehydrated. I hydrate with Eternal Water. Eternal Water is a naturally alkaline, pure, pristine water sourced directly from the springs here in America. It's filtered through layers of ancient rock, absorbing essential minerals and electrolytes you need to perform your best. It tastes amazing, makes you feel amazing, turning every workout into your best workout. I hydrate with Eternal Water.
So I grew up, I played a lot of football, a lot of basketball, and track and field was kind of my third sport initially. So I made my first track team, which was the first ever athletic team I was able to make when I was in the 7th grade. So it was the first team I was a part of, and I ran the 400 meters. And I was probably like the 4th or 5th best guy running the 400. And I ran it in the 7th grade and the 8th grade. And then when I got to the 9th grade, that's when I did high jump for the very first time. So that's just the start of it.
Okay, so we started off sprinting and we got to the high jump. What made you want to high jump? Because now you're clearing, man, you jumping 7 feet out there. Like, how did you get to the high jump?
So I got into the high jump because my older brother, he did the high jump first. So he's 1 year older than me, and he was on the same track team I was in middle school, 7th, 8th grade. But when he got to 9th grade, he decided to try the high jump, and he ended up making it to state his freshman year. And I believe he probably jumped 6'4" his freshman year, and I got to go to his state championship when I was in the 8th grade. So I was like, I want to do what he's doing whenever I get to the 9th grade. So when I got to the 9th grade, I tried it out, and I wasn't good enough to be on the varsity or even travel to any meet. So I did it at this one competition. It was a junior varsity meet. It was also a co-ed track meet. So I had to compete against boys and girls. I ended up jumping 4'8" in my first competition. And I also lost to girls in that competition, but I decided to come out the next year after that, ended up jumping 5'10", still competing with my brother. Then I jumped 6'3" after that, and my brother graduated. He had the school record of 6'8", I believe, or 6'6", and I broke that the next year after jumping 7 feet.
Dang. Broke your brother's record. How did he feel about that? Is he proud? Was he a little upset that you broke his record?
He was proud of me, you know. I mean, so my brother was a football guy, and track was just what he did to stay in shape, and he was really good at it. So him being able to see me take a sport and make it my own, because, I mean, I played football, I played basketball, but I was never the guy, and I was never able to flourish in those sports. For him to see me flourish in the sport and finally be able to, you know, make something my own, he was proud of me, especially since we did it together the whole way.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah.
Being able to take that sport and really make it your own, because now you are that guy. When we're talking high jump, you're that guy, period, right? But what has that journey been like from that first, meet where it was co-ed, you're losing the girls, to now you're literally like setting records every track you go to, What's the journey been like for you?
Honestly, very humbling. One thing I learned is, like, no matter where you start, it doesn't really matter. Like, in the end, you can end up becoming something as long as you stay down and keep working hard. A lot of times when I tell people this story, they look at me from the outside looking in, they think I was just always successful. But I tell them I started out here, and it took me 4 years to ever even get to the point where I was ever seen, and then restarting it, going back to the bottom of the totem pole when I get to college, being a freshman, having to be good for a freshman versus having to be good, period, in the NCAA. Um, that's humbling. It took a whole nother 4 years pretty much to become one of the top high jumpers in the NCAA. So that's an 8 year period. That's almost 10 years of work where I was only able to really shine in 2 of those years. So it's really a process.
Right. Yeah. This is not a sport where you can just pop off right now. It takes a lot of hard work, dedication. What you just said reminds me of this famous Usain Bolt post that's always circling around social media, where it says he trained 4 years for 9 seconds.
Yeah.
Right. Like, think about that for a second. That's literally what we're going through for our sport here, right? Like, you're literally training 4 years to be seen for that 1 year. But what has kept you dedicated to this journey?
Mainly, honestly, I have a lot of support from my family. And from start, when I first started out jumping 4'8" and being able to progress to 5'10", to go to 6'3", and to go to 7 feet my senior year of high school, I want to see just how high I could go, how far I could go after starting so low. So that's what really kept me going each and every year. And after making it to college, I was like, there were different things I wanted to achieve. I wanted to score in the SEC, which I was able to accomplish my freshman year. I wanted to get school records. I got the freshman school record. I wasn't able to get the school record. I wanted to get medals at SEC championships. I wanted to qualify for my first NCAAs, which I wasn't able to do until my junior year. And after qualification, I wanted to become a first team All-American. It was just so many things that I wanted to keep chasing, just to keep leveling up and proving to myself I can make things happen.
True. And you making them happen. So what's the goal now? What are you focused on, especially with this new season coming, 2024, getting ready for the Olympics, right?
Right. So the goal, honestly, I want a PR again. My goal every year is to jump higher than I did the year before. It's just a way that I get to keep in my mind that I'm always progressing. I'm definitely going out for the Olympic team, but before that, we have indoors. So they have a world indoor team. I'm going to go out for that. I have to compete at USA indoors. They also have, I believe, a NACAC team this year again. So yeah, I'm just shooting to make as many USA teams as I can and just compete on an international level. Because I still want to earn an international medal. That's still a box I haven't checked yet, but I'm still working toward
Right.
that.
Right. Yeah, you've been at some big meets on the big stage for sure, but an international medal, that's something different. What is that going to mean to you when you finally get that international medal?
It's going to mean a lot, I mean, just from where I started, and then even my freshman year, me finding out under 20 was a thing. I made my first under 20 team, and I got to go compete internationally after becoming the U20 national champ. And after seeing the joy on my teammates' faces, like they running around with the flag on their back, stars on the right, stripes on the left. And I really wanted that, but I couldn't have that at that time. It just wasn't my time. So I got to watch my teammates. 3, 4 years later, I make the NACAC team. I finished fourth place, one spot off the podium. Lost to an Auburn alumni who holds the school record at Auburn. I believe it's PR 79, Donald Thomas. And I was so close once again. I'm like, oh, but that's okay. It wasn't my time. And then this year, come to Pan Am, which was the biggest competition of my life. Got knocked out at a PR and so close to a medal once again. And it just wasn't my time. But that's okay. And I'm still pushing for that.
Yep, God's timing for sure. But like you said, you got knocked out at a PR, so that's not even something we can be mad at. You're literally out there jumping over basketball players. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard in our sport not to compare yourself to somebody else and want what they want. But like you're saying, it's not your time. God timing is everything.
Right.
But speaking of Auburn, what has your track and field experience been like at Auburn?
So Auburn, I've loved Auburn since I came. I grew up in Alabama, my hometown, Mobile, Alabama, 3 hours away. My family grew up Alabama fans, so it's always been a rivalry, and we never did like Auburn. But Auburn recruited me out of high school, so I loved Auburn. They were my they were my number one, and I also wanted to be in the SEC. So coming to the school, head coach Ralph Spry, position coach was Scott Richardson. Uh, Very good guys. You know, they really taught me a lot, just not about the sport, but also taught me how to grow and be a young man. You know, be a stand-up young man in the world, and that's what I really appreciate about my coaches. Even throughout my years of development at Auburn, I had a lot of failure. I struggled with academics at times because I was in a rigorous major in mechanical engineering, but my coaches was always by my side, had some good teammates, and I was able to progress and be successful in the end.
I did want to ask about your major as well, because I did read an article about that. What made you want to choose mechanical engineering?
So I had a very high GPA coming out of high school, and I was looking for something that could challenge me since I was never extremely challenged in high school. So choosing that major, I was told that this is a very it's a harder major, and it's also very broad, so you can choose whatever, a lot of different work options whenever you graduate. So that was pretty much my main reason for choosing this major.
Gosh, yeah, because I did read an article and I'm like, wow, that's interesting. Like, a lot of athletes, we stick to the sport realm and become agents and coaches and all type of stuff. Or I've even seen people go on and become therapists, but I've never read about any athletes becoming or studying mechanical engineering. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Right.
What is the student experience like at Auburn, right?
So being a student/student athlete, you get a lot of love on campus. Just being a student athlete, um, being a student at Auburn, your professors, they are very, I would say they work with you knowing that you do have an athletic background as well. They work with you when they know you're going to track meets. You're practicing all these different things, traveling. So the professors are very understanding, willing to work with you and things like that. But I've enjoyed my experience overall.
That's good because, like you said, student athlete, a lot of times we just focus on that athlete part, but you are a student, and things can happen where it could affect your athletics. So hopefully it doesn't, but it's good to hear that you have a solid environment there, people that are supporting you and helping you along that journey as well, right? But back to the track, what was the training at practice like being on the Auburn team? Like that's such a significant team in the SEC, in NCAA, period. What is the team environment like? What was training like?
So training was good. Coming out of high school, I ain't gonna lie, in high school I didn't do a lot of running at all, especially when I started doing strictly high jumping. I thought all I needed to do was go to practice and jump. When I got to Auburn, I got to get into some sprint mechanics, some weightlifting. I didn't really do a whole lot of weightlifting in high school other than for football, but track wise we never lifted, so I got to get into learning power clean technique, how to lift correctly, how to run correctly, which was challenging for me. I didn't have great technique. Just a lot of focus and detail on the little things in practice that I had never thought I would need as a high jumper. I thought I just needed to really run up and jump. But I learned so many different things, just hip mobility, like all these different things that I needed to be a great high jumper.
Yeah, true. I remember being in college. A lot of jumpers are like, but I just jumped, coach. Nah, it's more to it than that. It's a lot that actually can help you jump further. What was your favorite track workout that you felt maybe helped improve your speed, improve your technique, something that translated actually to the high jump?
One of my favorite, pretty much drills for the high jump was circle runs. We would do pretty much running in a circle, working on your lean, and keeping your knees high, hips tall. That was pretty much one of my favorite drills. Nowadays, one of my favorites is like a curve run. It's pretty much a 50 to 100-meter curve run. Same concept. You're just running around the curve of the track, but you're keeping that lean in that position. I like those drills a lot because it allows you to over exaggerate what you're really going to do when you're actually approaching the bar. You get to really over exaggerate it and focus on it, and it's one of the most important parts of the event, the curve.
Facts. Yeah, because if you can't hold your speed, your power, you might hit the bar right now. Now you scratch for sure. Okay. You mentioned this before. You said something about power cleans, but what's your favorite weightlifting
It
exercise?
is the power clean. That's my favorite. It's my favorite.
Why?
Uh, I honestly think it's because of the technique of it all. So I was never really very strong. I've always been a slimmer guy, skinnier guy. I'm like 168 pounds right now, but my power clean PR is 246, which is pretty good considering my weight. And it wasn't always that high, but learning the technique of the event, I mean of the lift, and being able to use my full body, it really showed me that even though I'm not as big or as strong as some of these other guys, like body wise, body shape wise, I can still lift what they can lift with technique.
Still got that power for sure.
Right.
Yeah, and you are light, so that shows how much stronger you actually are. You know, it's one thing weighing 200, lifting 200, but if you weigh 160, you cleaning to like you're strong. That's some power for sure. But okay, we got your favorite track and field drill or high jump drill, something that you feel is helping you. We got your favorite weightlifting exercise. Now let's say practice is done. What are you refueling with after practice? What's your favorite post workout meal?
So I was real big on pretty much protein shakes.
Okay.
That would be like one of the first things I eat after weights or practice or drink. But nowadays, my favorite is pretty much I say greens and proteins. Some kind of salad and some chicken most times. Like salad and grilled chicken is like my favorite refueling thing to do.
Greens and protein. I like that. Okay. Can't be mad at that at all. Are you refueling with any of the hydration mix, any Gatorades, Powerades, any go-to drinks?
I wouldn't say I really have any go-to drinks at all. It's just whatever protein shakes around that they have in the snack bar and things like that.
Got you. Got to stay hydrated for sure. But okay. I want to shift this more to the mental aspect of the athletics, to training, competing, right? Are there any things you do to mentally prepare yourself for competition, right? Especially as you're stepping on these big stages, competing against these big names. They're announcing this all at the track meet. What do you do to keep yourself like mentally locked in and focused?
The one thing I used to do, I used to listen to music before competition because I thought that was the thing to do. But just because that's what everybody else does doesn't mean that's what I need to do. So I had to find my own way. One thing that's really helped me is positive self-talk. Not just telling myself that I can jump a bar, can do this and that, but also telling myself to be present in this moment and that regardless of what happens, I'm not going to get this moment back. So just enjoy it, have fun, and just do the best that I can. One thing one of my mentors told me that always calms me down is he told me, DT, your best is enough. So as long as I gave my best effort, regardless of what the outcome is, as long as I know I gave my best, I can know that I did enough for myself. So that's what I do.
That's all you can ask for. That's all it's about. Putting your best foot out there, right? Competing your best. That's what we train so hard for. Not necessarily worrying about the outcome, the time, the mark. Did I do my best? I like that. Okay. Now, there comes a point where track and field has to end, right? We all have to hang up our track and field spikes. What is your long-term plan with track and after track?
So with track, I'm trying to make as many USA teams as I can. I want to go through 3 or 4 Olympic cycles. So 2024 Olympic cycle, 2028, 2032, and if I'm still in shape, 2036. Be jumping at 36. So that's my ultimate goal. Go through those Olympic cycles, do my best to make those teams. Along the way, try to make those World Championships teams that happen every other year over these next 10 to 12 years. But yeah, that's my main goal. One day I do plan to coach. That's something I'm really passionate about because I love helping the youth. I love teaching. So I'm really passionate about that. I want to do that at some point in my career, whether that's while I'm still jumping or after I'm finished.
I like that. Do you think you would only coach high jump, or would you be like a head coach of a team, a youth team? What you
I think
thinking?
I would start probably with my event. I definitely want to coach the college level for sure. Um, Whether I start with the youth and whatnot, but I definitely do want to eventually coach the college level. But I think I'll be a jumps coach, overall jumps coach, long, triple, high, but pole vault much for technical, so I couldn't do that.
But I can see that though. From the coaches you've had, the knowledge you've gained, the experience you have, definitely, using that to help somebody else improve their technique, their skill, that's basically some mentorship as well. So I can see that for sure. Okay. Do you think you would want to coach at Auburn?
For sure, I would love to coach in my alma mater someday, like for sure.
Where else would you go, right? But that's dope. That's dope. Last question I love to ask everybody is, what's something you wish you could have told yourself as a kid, or something you wish you could tell a kid now?
Uh, Let me think about this one. It would probably be something along the lines of be patient and focus on your journey. That's one thing I really try to live by, because even the kids that DM me today, sometimes they say, "Oh, my friend is jumping this. I feel bad about this because I want to do this." And I was that. I was that when I was younger. Like, I'm like, "Oh, my brother's doing this. I'm not this good. I know people doing this." I was outside of myself. I'm thinking about the external thing instead of focusing on myself, and that could have prevented me from reaching where I am today had I let those things get into my soul and seep into me and prevent me from moving forward. So the main thing I would say is focus on your journey. Try not to just block out the noise and try not to focus on everything external, because it can be negative, whether it's positive. We don't always know.
Couldn't said any better myself. I appreciate those wise words, man.
Appreciate you.
Of course. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to sit down and have this conversation with me. Like I said, I'm a fan, been supporting from the jump, man. Definitely believe you're up to some big things. Some records coming. Looking forward to seeing you on that big stage. You have everything it takes, man.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you having me on the show as well.
Of course. That is it for us here on Trackletics Live. See y'all next episode. Peace.